right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming at you this Saturday night at 8:03, not too far off the mark from 8 p.m. We are going to be playing Nightfall Games Slay Industries. I am a huge fan. I've been following the game for 20 years. I have the original softback version, I have the reprinted hardback version, and now I have second edition with the GM screen and all the goodies, the books and the quick start. This is available on Drive Through RPG for like $1.29. Um, so I bought Nasser and Cosmic a copy, so they can have a copy, and if they like it, hopefully they'll go out and buy it if they don't already own it. But we're going to give the game a run through tonight, so forgive us if we make any errors, if we make any silly mistakes. As I've said in the past, I have a million different RPGs running through my brain, and I don't always get them all right. But I did do a rules refresher. Nasser and Cosmic have the quick start, and they have read up on it a little bit. So we're just going to go with it. We're going to do a simple introductory adventure of my own devising, and we are going to just have some fun with it. So thank you for joining us for this ride. At first, I would like to introduce, as always, the awesome Nasser Super Beast. Sir, tell us about yourself. Huzzah! Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely got the brute. And we'll talk a little bit about the classes. Moving on to Mr. Cosmic Flusk, also a Patreon member and proud supporter of the Mini Army slash Horde. Nasser, tell us about yourself, sir. Excellent. Um, so the year, I got my little note card right here. The current year for Slay Industries is 9/15. So you guys are newly appointed Slay operatives, aka derogatorily known as slops. No one will call you a slop to your face unless they've got a bigger gun than you. Mort is, we're on the planet of Mort, which is in the world of progress. The world of progress is all of the planets and galaxies and universes that Slay Industries has subjugated, for lack of a better word. And the beauty is that, uh, you know, the tagline for Mr. Slayer is, I will give you everything you want, just give me blind obedience. And as a Slay operative, you are out there to protect Mr. Slayer's interest in the world of progress. And so you find yourselves. Uh, I'm waiting to see if we're actually streaming here. I believe we are. Yeah, we are. We're good. So make sure we can hear. I'm gonna just turn the volume up on my stream just to make sure we can hear it. Oh, that's the wrong video. Come on. I'm really professional here, guys. I've got this all squared away. I promise. Um, I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing. Where's my email? Email. There we go. There we go. Click on this. You could. I just heard me. Uh, Nasser, say something for me. Nasser, say something for me. Yeah, let me crank up your volume. For some reason, it's really low again. All right, give me a testing one. I can't really hear it. It's for some reason it's gone south on me, and I don't know. Let me double check in the stream here. Okay. Ah, that's why. Got the wrong one. There we go. All right, Nasser, one more time, buddy. Okay, hold on one second. Still can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah, it was working. I mean, nothing literally has changed. Uh, there is literally nothing that has changed.
Should I jump in and out?
No, Cosmic, why don't you try saying something, sir?
All right. Anything in particular you want me to say besides testing, testing?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, we are good now. That's what it was. There was a setting wrong. Somehow the setting reverted back, so I do apologize. So jumping back into it, it is, the year is 915 SD, uh, and you guys are sleigh operatives. You're newly minted, fresh out of the factory. Uh, Gall as a Stormer 313 variant. You are basically bred in a vat. um, and you are a conflict beast. You are made for war. You're made, but they realized that there was value in putting you as a sleigh operative because the wars are kind of there's still conflict wars going on distant planets, and a lot of stormers are bred for those. But you were bred to be a sleigh operative. Um, Drew, you're a frother. You're a human. You basically think, your Celtic warriors of ages past. It's not unusual for you to go into battle with a claymore and a kilt. But the reason you can hang with the likes of Gaul is, well, you have this thing called combat drugs, and you're a big fan of them.
Rush.
Rush. That's right. Rush. And so you like nothing more than to hit that little auto dispenser that's probably taped to your chest or something, or your arm, and it just injects you with drugs. The only problem is a lot of these drugs are highly addictive. And unfortunately, you have figured that out, much to your chagrin. But you don't care because you're a slop and you get paid to do the dirty jobs. And so think of your most crowded city at the highest peak of traffic, with acid rain, and graffiti and commercialism everywhere, advertisements and neon signs, bright and glaring, even at 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. Um, and you've got basically the picture of Mort City, um, the in the world of progress. And you're in the hall, in the operatives hall, and you're waiting for a BPN. A BPN is a blueprint news. Now, in years past, the reason they were called blueprint news is there was these kiosk, these news kiosk that you would go to, and you would get a job, and you would show you have a Slay Industries ID, and you would take that ID and you would insert it into the kiosk, and then it would give you a list of BPN's blueprint news that were applicable to your SCL level, your security clearance level. You guys are all new ops, so your security level is 10, and it goes down. Mr. Slayer is at 1. He is the top dog. You've never even seen Mr. Slayer. He's like 9 feet tall. He has black hair with a shock of white. He has fangs like a vampire, and he has eyes that don't have pupils. And he's not human. And he is all powerful, and also he is God basically. And so these blueprint news would print out on a blue sheet of paper with a darker blue printout, so they were called blueprint news, or BPNs, and then they shortened it to BPNs, and it went on and went on. So now, unfortunately, instead of having these news kiosks, because technology has grown, a side note from that, news and media, TV is all free. There's no such thing as cable companies. There are news companies, that project the truth, and that's free, and it's piped into everybody's house for free. Your squat living conditions, whatever they may be. When normally you would make a character, you would choose, your social standing, and you could be rich, you could be poor, you could have some savings, that kind of thing. You could have someone in the BPN environment that could help you get better jobs and things like that. So there's a lot of character creation options. The the quick start just gives you a brief taste of everything. The book itself has very in-depth character creation and how to do things, and comes with some starting BPNs. Um, and then there's the GM screen, which is the GM pack, which I have right in front of me. And this has a bunch of BPNs in it, as well as a bunch of just really good GM information. One of the things that you're going for, violence is everywhere. Everybody carries a gun. Everybody. Okay. There's contract killers. Contract killers are guys like Halloween Jack, who is the guy that's on the cover of Slay Industries. Uh, this guy. That's Halloween Jack. He is like, there's like a BPN out there to capture him alive, and if you do, you can write a blank check. You're beyond. But he's also like the number one circuit contract killer. So catching this guy, it's way above and beyond any hope that you have as an SCL 10 operative to take this guy. If you saw this guy, your best bet would be to turn around and run, or put the gun to your head and pull the trigger before he gets to you. And his weapon of choice is a chainsaw axe. So it's an axe, like a giant two-handed axe with a chainsaw running around it, and that's what he uses to dismember people. And the media love him. Conflict sports are all the rage. So everything, there's floating cameras everywhere, and media staff are everywhere. And so part of the world of progress, and the part of you becoming Slay operatives, is fame, right? You want to be famous. You want to be the next Halloween Jack. You want to be the next Nightfall. You want to be the best, Killer Rain, or whatever it may be. Whatever these guys are. And one of the ways to achieve that is to become a Slay operative, because you get sponsorships. And sponsorships like Nike, Hershey's chocolate, that kind of thing. And you get, they put logos on your armor, and if it's a weapon manufacturer, they might give you a free gun to use. But murder is a fact of life. It is every day. It happens in the world of progress. The lower into the slums you go, the worse it gets. Of course, there's a wall for the city, and beyond that wall is called Cannibals Sector 1. It's not a nice place. It's a very, very bad place, and there's all kinds of nasty things. Carrion pigs, which are, years ago, these pigs were bred to breed awful really fast and grow like, a ton, right? The problem was, they're carnivorous pigs, is what they're called. The problem is they got loose, and they chew through armor like, a hot knife goes through butter. So they breed super fast, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger the more they eat. And so they are a problem, and they run around in the cannibal sector. So there's all kinds of fun things like that out there for you to do. There is a local law enforcement. You are above them. They are called the Shivers, and they wear riot armor, and they use firearms and stuff, and they have APCs and vehicles, and they will take direction from you, but not willingly. They are not happy about their lot in life, so to speak. Most Shivers are people that couldn't make it as Slay operatives. They didn't pass the test, but they're in basic law. It's analogous to today's security guard versus a cop, right? Cops look at security guards as the guys who couldn't make it. That may not necessarily be the truth, but it is the perception. And so Shivers are the cannon fodder that you send in to soften up stuff before you go in. But a lot of times, if you told the Shiver, hey, there's a carrion pig in that hole, go in there, the Shiver's going to say, F you, buddy. That's what you make the big bucks for. You took the BPN. Go take care of it. We'll stand out here and keep the civilians away. Um, and so there's cults. I mean, there's every depravity that you can think of, and all of it is news. All of it gets ratings. All of it gets televised. And like I said, everybody's house has a flat screen TV, whether they live in a cardboard box under a bridge. The news feeds and shows are fed to you for free. And so we are at the BPN hall, and you two are waiting. You don't have a team yet, so you've kind of teamed up together because you're waiting to get as part of the group that's on your character sheet. But we didn't get enough players tonight because it was very short notice, and so we're just going to roll with you two. And a BPN comes out to you, Drew, and your number's called. You get a ticket, and your number's called. You go up, and they give it to you, and it's a white BPN for SCL 10, and it pays 200 credits per operative. So that means you'll get 200 and Gall will get 200. And it's Station Analysis is who is sponsoring it. They're one of the large news crews slash, uh, you know, Mr. Slayer's guys. And the department authorization is the Department of Investigations training packages. Now, Drew, what training packages does your operative have? It says on your character sheet.
The listed as package, right?
Yes.
Heavy support.
Heavy support. Okay. And then Gall, what do you have?
He's close assault.
Close assault. So obviously that means you're up close and personal, melee weapons, that kind of thing. Your heavy weapons, big guns, big claymore. What I don't know if you have a claymore, but
I do not.
you do not.
I think I've
Yes,
got a.
you got a big
I
gun.
think I've. Yeah, I've got a Power Reaper.
Oh,
I think
nice.
I'm just looking at skills. It looks like I'm okay in unarmed combat. Um, with melee, I'm not great. I
Well,
think
yeah,
I've
you're
got
you're you're a heavy weapons expert. So yeah, you're
yeah,
you're not your forte is not close combat. It is,
yeah.
uh, yeah, you've
Uh,
got a bonus of for rifles of 7. That's your highest
yeah,
stat. So yeah, you're all
yeah,
about the big guns. And then you have a Fen 603. Everybody gets you get a basic package. And if we were making characters, that would be a clipper or clip lighter, because everybody smokes. Of course, it's Mort. Um, but it's funny because you're heavy support, but all you have is an auto pistol. Well, that you have a
So
slave.
I've
Oh, you have a
I've got
706 Power Reaper. Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah,
That is there's actually a picture of it in the core book, and then it's the second page shows all your damage. So and we'll get into that. 220 meters is the range on that weapon, so you can reach out and touch somebody from far away. Uh, penetration value or protection value is 6 on your armor. You have PP10 hard armor, which is really good. That means anytime you get hit, you subtract 10 from the damage, and then whatever's left
yeah.
goes through.
I
But
love.
go,
I don't know if the picture for Drew McThomas is accurate to that armor,
yes, it
but I
is.
love that look.
Yeah, it is definitely armor. And then you look at Gaul, the Stormer, who has, you know, they are just literally beast with teeth. And we'll show the picture there. That's
Yeah.
Gaul. They are Stormers. They stand about 8 feet tall. You're wearing PP10 hard armor as well. And let's see, you have Chuckle Dusters, which are unarmed. It's basically brass knuckles, and a Mac knife, which is a standard issue knife. So yeah, you're a beast, and you get to add your strength, uh, I believe, to the Mac knife. So yeah, you are shoulder mounted flashlight. So yeah, you're a big one. So that being said, let's see. Oh, and we didn't show the picture of Drew McThomas. There's Drew. It's a picture of Drew. So he's wearing powered armor. Not powered armor, but he's wearing heavy armor, hard armor as it's called.
Mm.
Yeah, and you get this VPN that's, like I said, it's being put out by Department of Investigation, and any package is available, so you qualify. That's one of the things when you get a VPN, you have to make sure that you meet the qualifications. Like some of them may have, of course, none of these have anything listed. They're all because these are all intro level adventures, but some of them may say assassination. They may have requirements that someone in your squad has to have. And that's the joy of making a group of players, is you would have all those people together and have different options. But in this case, we have a stormer and we have a frother. And again, frothers, the reason they call them frothers is because usually when they jump into combat and they kick in their drugs, they start frothing at the mouth and go berserk. So, and they feel limited pain and, yada, yada, yada. So, the BPN reads as such. Operatives to join Shiver forces in downtown District 5-343 for the interrogation of 3 arrested skin traders and further investigation into 7 missing civilians. Any leads to recover missing persons are to be followed up accordingly. This is a plus dot 2 SCL increase, which means your SCL, if you successfully complete this VPN, your SCL will go from 10 to 10.2 or 10.02. When you hit 10.10, you would drop down to SCL 9 dot, you know, and you would go from there. So it's kind of a reverse sliding upward scale. So you guys know where that section is. You have to take a combat taxi or a combat cab or public transportation because you don't have vehicles unless it says so on your character sheet, which I don't believe it does. Uh, so you would, if unless there's anything you wish to do, what we'll do is we'll say that you are making your way downtown to section 5-343 to interrogate the 3 skin traders, which is exactly what it sounds like. They're bad people. Um, the way the mechanics work is it's similar to Cyberpunk. It's a stat and a skill and a 1d10. The kicker is the stat die that you're going to use is going to be a different color from all your other dice. The other dice that you will add will be the total value of your skill. So, like if I was asking you to make an interrogation check, you would use whatever the stat is for interrogation. That would be 1 die. And then let's say, Nasser, you have 2 in interrogation. You would get 2 dice of the odd color and then a third dice. You always get to roll an extra third dice. So it's whatever the skill is plus 1. Then I would set a target number. You would roll those dice. So in this case, Nasser would be rolling his attribute die and 3 dice because he has a skill of 2. It's always the skill level plus 1. And you would roll, and you would add whatever's on the attribute die, the colored die, the main criteria die. You would add whatever
Success.
that number. Say again.
The success die, you mean?
Yeah, the success die. You would add whatever that number is to your skill value. So if you had a skill value of 2, I rolled a 6, it would be 8. If the target number was 8 or more or 8, you would succeed. And then those other dice that you rolled, if any of them also roll a success based on the target number that we've given, adding your attribute and everything, you would also get a success. So in your case, you would have got an awesome success because I rolled a 10 on one of them, and the other 2 I each rolled an 8. So if that's any indicative of how the GM's dice are rolling, you guys are screwed. But that would be a success, and then 3 extra. Your margin of success would be 3, which is actually really good. Let me see, and I have the GM screen in front of me. And let's see if they do the margins of success. I can't find it. I'm looking like a madman here. Fear rating, fear. Margin of success. Yeah, 3 successes would be an incredible success. So, and there's also margins of failure. If the skill die or the attribute die rolled less than, if you didn't make the target number, then all of those dice that failed as well would also be failures. So but the skill dice are not indicative of success or failure. They just add to success or failure. Your success die, your attribute die, is the only one that says if you passed or failed. Target numbers are simple. A mundane task is automatic success. Simple task is 4, challenging is 7, complex is 10, strenuous is 13, insane is 16. So you can see it gets pretty hard when you're looking at your values. And I mean, you might at best have a starting attribute value of 5 on a good day for these, entry level characters. So you can see where hitting a 13 or better is going to be tough, but it can be done. There's
Insane.
no, say again, insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, uh, exactly. You don't re-roll tens or anything like that. So um, it's pretty simple. Success die is a success. +1 skill die counts as a success. +2 skill dice successes. If using Ebb Discipline attack, it does +1 damage. +3 skill dice. That's for Ebb. We don't need to worry about Ebb because no one's playing. And that's pretty. There's fear as well. We'll get into fear if it comes up. But as it stands, that's the basic mechanic. Damage kind of works very similar in the same way, except that you'll target the character, they will try to defend, you'll set a target number, you'll either succeed or fail, they'll either dodge or not. And if you hit, it's your margins of success, and you do the damage listed by the weapon minus their armor. There's damage, there's hit points, and there's wounds. Wounds are bad. You know, damage is like scratches and cuts. Wounds are like, you lost an arm. So that being said, we have spent the time in the combat cab. You pay in credits. There's unis and their credits. SLA operatives get paid in unis. Everybody else works in credits. Credits are in like a coin form and bills as well as electronic. Unis are only electronic. So unis are the preferred method of payment for just about everything, but not everybody has access to unis. A Coke cost $15 if you wanted to buy a soda out of a vending machine. So the prices are really stupid expensive. And then I can hear everybody out there in the land of Mr. Mean saying, well, Mr. Mean, if we're such awesome fighters and we have all these cool weapons, why do we have melee weapons? Well, it's real simple. Violence sells. And Mr. Slayer and research has been done and saw that anybody that engages in physical combat, the ratings are way higher than two guys just shooting across an alley trying to shoot each other in the face. So needless to say, the public wants to see the violence. They want to see the up close and personal combat. So, in order to encourage that mode of attack, Mr. Slayer and the World of Progress and the administrative powers that be have decided to implement a bullet tax. And the bullet tax right now is 150% of the cost of a bullet. So, if a soda costs $15, you can imagine how much a bullet costs. And then on top of that, when you fire that bullet, you have to pay the tax, which, by the way, they deduct from your pay before they give it to you, because it's always being filmed. There's always cameras. They're going to know. They know how many rounds you fired, so on and so forth. So some people try to subjugate that and try to hide it. That's called avoiding the truth, or the truth, depending on what side of the line you're on. And that can lead to bad things or good things. It depends on your point of view. But right now, you're all righteous operatives of Slay. You believe in everything Mr. Slayer is selling you. And as the tagline says, I will give you everything you want as long as you give me blind obedience. And so right now, you haven't heard anything about the truth, and you believe everything Mr. Slayer says. So you're all about the blind obedience. And so you have made it to the downtown district of 5-343. You can see there's a shiver patrol. There's a tenement. It's about 10 stories tall. You can see they've got, shiver tape, police tape, marked off. There's a couple of, they don't have like regular police cars. They have like APCs, with like 6 tires. And it's heavily armored, and there's gun slots. There's big, like what looks like a 50 caliber on the hood, on the roof. So just think of your armored A-team, minivan, just armored up and ready to go with 6 wheels, 6 all-terrain tires, and drab olive green, of course. And there's a shiver Captain Adams there, and he's like, "Are you the slops?" And he just looks at you. You can see he's got a little gray in his temples. You don't get to live long being a shiver if you're dumb. So obviously this guy's been around the block once or twice, and he looks at you because the Stormers aren't known for their brains. Let's face it, everybody knows that it's coming.
Mhm.
So he's not even looking at the Stormer. He's looking at you, Drew, and he's like, "Are you the slop sent to interrogate these fools?"
Yeah, that's us.
All right. 7th floor, can't miss it. Look for the blood. And he just turns around and goes back.
All right.
So, and the
Head to
Stormer,
the
8 feet
head
tall,
head
full of muscle.
Head of the full of teeth.
Full of teeth, yes, and claws. They have claws.
Yeah.
um,
Head to the seventh floor.
Yeah, you get up to the seventh floor. As soon as you get off the, believe it or not, functioning elevator, amazing. You can see that there's bullet holes in the wall. There's like, looks like some sort of like slashing weapon, tore through this cheap plascrete, you know, and there's blood splatter. You can see there's a lady cut in half, right, just vivisected, laying there, dead. Um, there's a little kid with a bullet hole in him. Luckily he's face down, so you can't see him. That is the normal carnage. Now, normally what would happen is I would require a fear roll, but you guys are Slay operatives. This is, while disturbing as it may be, this is normal. You've seen this day in and day out. So something worse than this would have to really set you off. And so you go into the room, you can see there's a couple shivers in the hall. There's one, take these guys are all in heavy combat armor. It's not nearly as good as your armor, but they are in armor, and they're taking, one of the guys is taking pictures. They've all got helmeted mask on, so you can't see their face, because the shivers, they're the blind, law enforcement agency, and they live in the public sector where everybody else lives, so they don't want to be, only a rookie would have his helmet up. Let's put it that way. So they're taking pictures and doing their police work, and they see you, and they can hear the stormer. Your feet just boom, boom, boom as you walk through the hall. Your shoulders are, you barely got enough room to, walk through there. Um, and there's another guy standing there in armor. He's got a Finn 306 pistol on his hip. The rest of the shivers have lesser weapons, so this guy's like a lieutenant or something, um, and he's standing there looking at you, and his mask is like halfway open, so only his mouth, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of it, and smoke's going up into his helmet. It doesn't seem to bother him, and he's got a real raspy voice, and he's like, "So you're the shiver, or you're the ones Slay sent to clean up this mess? About time. I've been waiting here all morning. Get in there and see what these asshats have to say." And you can see when you walk in the room, there's three guys sitting in a chair, and they've got, excuse me, and this is where I am going to require a fear check, because these guys are skin traders, and you see, at first you thought it was like just a mask, and you realize it's human skin that they're wearing, and it's sewn together rough, and the smell is just, oh. So now I'm going to require, because you've never seen this, you've never run into skin traders, and they are like the worst of humans. These guys sell other humans for food, for you name it. Everything bad in the universe, these guys do. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to require a fear check, and I'm going to say that it's going to be a fear at +1, because you've never seen it before. So the fear rating is going to be 1. I'm going to give it a 1. So what you're going to roll is, and I already forgot what the fear rating is. I believe it's your cool, but we're going to double check, because we're learning the rules here, everybody. So it's in the beginning and skills. So we're going to double check. I had it in my head, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got that. So it's going to be a cool. So whenever total of fear rating or any given circumstance becomes higher than the character's cool stat. So Drew, what's your cool stat?
4.
And Gall, what's yours?
5.
5. Okay. So just to make it an interesting roll, and because I added a +1, we're going to say it's a 6. So the target number is going to be challenging, a 7. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll, to make a fear test, character must roll a success die and add their cool to the value rolled. So you don't get to add any other dice. So you're going to take your one colored die, you're going to roll it, add your cool. You're looking to beat a target number of 7, which hopefully everybody can do.
9 for me.
9 as well.
Ah, you guys are simpatico. You're on the same level. So you're taken aback. Even you see the Shakhtar, his nose kind of, and he doesn't like this smell, and the Shakhtar eats raw meat. It's So even this is gnarly to you, but it's not outside the scope of what you've dealt with. And so you sit down, you see uh, two of them kind of they see you, Drew, walk in, and they're like, whatever. But then the stormer turns the corner, and they're like, just for a second, and then they kind of go back to that stoic, pissy look on their face. Even with these masks are skin tight, like they've spent time, developing these masks, and so they're sitting there. They've got handcuffs behind them in these basically kitchen chairs they're strapped to, and they're just sitting there. The shivers are like the shiver. One of them that's there, and he's holding his rifle, and he looks at the one closest to him on his left, and he goes, "Oh, you guys are fucked now. The slops are here." And he turns around and he walks out, and the guy that says that stops, and he looks at you, Drew, and he's like, "They're all yours. We don't want them. Do with them what you will when you're done." And they walk away. You can actually hear as they're going down. You hear the uh, the vehicle starting up. There's a very distinct high-pitched whine as the engines roar to life. These big, powerful engines, and you
Hmm.
can hear them loading up. They're done. You're here. They don't need to be here anymore. So they're rolling out. So you've got these three guys sitting there, human-faced skin, mask, dressed in like leathers and pieces of patchwork armor. You can see their weapons are over in a corner. They're all garbage weapons. Nothing better than what you currently own. So there's no point in using any of that. Um, like the shotgun they have would just bounce off your armor. It wouldn't even be a threat to you. Might have given the shivers pause, but again, the shivers took them down. You can see there's a couple of other dead guys with the mask and everything, but these three are alive. And it's the one of them looks at you and says, "I ain't telling you nothing, slop."
I do have a quick question. Do we have to pay the bullet tax on bullets fired from someone else's weapon?
Yes,
So
yes,
I have to pay the tax if I shoot him with his own gun.
yes. And you can see there's a
Ah,
camera. There's a camera floating in the room. And there's a camera outside the window shooting through. There's a camera in the hallway, and these are all news media. Now, if it's actually recording or not, you do not know because you guys are lowly level,
hmm.
SCL 10 slops. Nobody really cares about you, or do they? Mr. Slayer, it is said, is always watching. And of course, you can hear the pitter patter of acid rain outside. Most of your armor and all your gear is protected against it. You don't want to leave it out there long term, but you could walk down the street and be fine. Um,
All right.
so yeah,
I guess the guy who said he's not telling us anything.
yeah, the guy on the left at the shiver.
Yeah.
As you're looking at him, it's 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is the one who spoke.
All right. I want to pop number one in the mouth.
All right. So, again, the way the mechanics work, this is a mundane task because he can't resist. He's tied up. So you just
Hmm.
what's your strength?
Strength is 3.
His 3. So it's. I mean, you bloody his lip, and his head pops back.
Hmm.
He's like, "Heh, you hit like a pussy."
Uh, next one, my partner here delivers.
And then when he says that, you kind of see a wicked, sadistic smile. But he doesn't have Gaul doesn't have lips.
No
It's all
Stormer
the,
has lips. And by the way, you
yeah,
always have a wicked, sarcastic snarl on your
yeah,
face because
yeah,
you're a Stormer.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
so they see like his teeth and gums out there, and he's looking at one of them. Uh, you said there were dead bodies, right?
yeah.
On the layer, some of these guys. He's gonna try to use that as an intimidating factor. He's gonna try to crush one of the skulls with his hand if he could do that,
You can
just to
totally.
intimidate.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, do you have intimidation as a skill?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Okay. So I'm gonna allow
I
you
have,
to roll your intimidation. So that's gonna be your success die or your skill die. And then what's your
I have three
intimidation?
ranks.
So you're gonna pick
Three
up
ranks.
4 d10s on top. You're gonna be rolling 5 dice.
All right.
One for your attribute. You said a 3 in intimidation,
Rank 3 in intimidation.
right? And then you get an extra +1 die, no matter what. Everybody gets that. So whatever your skill attribute is, or whatever your skill total is, +1 is what you always roll. So you're going to roll those. Now this guy is a skin trader. He eats children. He's not easily scared. So I'm going to say that's going to be a complex skill. You need to beat a target number of 10.
All right.
So you're going to roll those dice. We only care at first
Okay.
what the
So it's the first dice, right?
right,
So what do I add the rank to it, right?
right.
Okay. So I have a rank of 3 in that, but I rolled an 8 here.
All right. So let's just double check and make sure we are correct. Um, and I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. Let's just make sure we got it right and we're doing it because it's been a while. I really hate that song. It's been a while, but you know, uh, success die. Perform an active skill roll. The player must roll the success die plus a number of skill die equal to the rank they have in the relevant skill +1. At the max, you can roll a 60-10. So Zach McTavish, Father Operative, is making a detect roll, has a detect skill of rank 2. They will roll a total of 4 dice. After rolling the required cool stat of 3 and it enters the skill bonus. So the skill bonus is your attribute plus your skill level. So you rolled an 8. It's based off cool. Interrogation is based off of cool. Your cool was what, a 5? You said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5 plus 3 is 8, and you rolled an 8.
Yeah.
Correct?
I rolled an 8 on the success die.
Right. So now, so 8 plus 8 is 16. So now adding on your other 4 dice, you're going to, are any of them, you'll add your attribute plus your skill level of 8 to those, to whatever the number is on those die. Do any of them beat a 10?
Oh, 3 dice beat a 10. One is a 2. So it's the.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that
wait.
one, well, 8 plus
That
2
You
is
said an
10.
8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
target
yeah.
number is a
They're
10.
all.
So all
Yeah.
three. So what happens here is you on your success die you got a success, and then on the other 3 dice or 4 dice you got. So you have gained an exceptional. You have gained a unbelievable success. So describe what you do. This guy, they all stop and look at you. You reach
Right.
over, you grab one of their dead guys, I assume. One of the
Yeah,
guys
one of the
wearing a
corpses. And I say, speak up or I'm going to crush your skull like this. And then I crush the skull
and
in front of him.
literally you see
Yeah.
brains and gray matter just squirt out of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the ears, out of the orifices, and you hear Drew, you hear this sickening crunch of just skull gray matter hit the floor. At that point, you notice the third guy, one, two, three. The third guy, literally, you smell urine, and he starts crying, literally just, please don't kill me, please, and just loses his bowels. The second guy passes out, just literally, and faints. And you smell urine. Number one, the guy that Drew was talking to goes, neat trick, monkey. He doesn't seem to be impressed.
I'm going to go to the third guy and say, "Okay, friend, you want to survive the night? You need to tell me what I want to know."
And he's
And
looking. Go ahead.
we're we're after is it prisoners?
No, it's civilians. There's been,
Missing.
Civilians?
yeah, there's been 7 missing civilians after the Shivers arrived. The bulk of the skin traders, which is a gang, got away, and 7 people from this building are missing. The dead
All right.
bodies and the tenants have all been accounted for. There are 7 people missing, and um, station analysis wants those 7 people recovered at all cost, or know what happened to them. For
All
you,
right.
in order for you to succeed at this BPN, not only will you get the or 200 credits, you'll also get a point zero or a point 0.2 SCL increase, which is Mondo Importante. So it's really what you do it. The money's nice, but it's the SCL increase that you're
Mhm.
after. Um, The big guy on the right, number one, is like, "You shut your mouth. You don't say nothing to him." And he's like, he's crying, sobbing. He's pissed himself, and he's like, "They're already gone, man. You can't do nothing. You can't save them. It's too late. Just let me go, man. Don't keep." And he's looking at the stormer like, "You keep that monster away from me." And the big guy's like, "That monkey ain't gonna do nothing." He's just talking smack and trying to, "You shut up, Ivan. You don't say a word to these slobs. I'll kill you myself. Let me out of these chains. I'll show you what a true man can do." And he's just talking shit and he's yelling at Ivan. Ivan's sobbing like a baby because whatever seeing the guy's eyes, squirt brain matter was just that
Mhm.
sent him over the edge.
Yeah. So, so, so Ivan, there's a very good chance that you live,
I
and
want to live, man. I want to live.
right, and the jackass on the end there, saying he's going to do stuff to you. He's never going to do anything again. You help us out tonight. You will never have to worry about him. You can go on and live your life the way you want to live your life.
So go ahead and give me an intimidation roll, and I'm going to. Normally it would be. It's going to be a 7. I'm going to make it a 5 because this guy is. Now here's the thing. There's automatic pass. So what's your cool?
Hmm.
What's your
My
cool
cool is
rate?
4,
All right, and then do you have
and
interrogation?
I do have interrogate. I don't have intimidate.
Oh, no, interrogation. I'm asking. I'm sorry,
Okay.
interrogation. No, what's your interrogation? What's your
Uh,
skill level?
skill level is 6, so I
Holy
have two
crap!
ranks.
All right. Oh, so total is 6. All right. Well, uh, yeah. So the target number is a 5. So what that means is it becomes a mundane task for you to talk to this guy and get information.
Hmm.
And because he's already putty in your hands and he's broken basically mentally because he saw what the stormer did. It's an
Hmm.
automatic pass for you, so you don't even need to roll. So you succeed,
Okay.
and he's like, "Yeah, I'll tell you everything, man. I'll tell you. Just get him away from me, and And the other guy's like, "Ivan, you piece of shit! I'm gonna kill you. You are a traitor.
All right.
Skin traitors forever." Rah!
Is it
He's
possible to put my hand on that guy's mouth and
your
just shut
hand
him up?
your hand covers his whole face. You could
Yeah, just
literally
keep it.
you could
Yeah,
smother him by just, clasping your
yeah,
whole hand over his
yeah. I
face.
just grab his face so my partner
Yeah.
could interrogate the other
These
guy.
son of a bitches I got and that's about all you hear. And he's, the Ivan guy's like, "Oh, oh," because the stormers walked a little closer. So,
Hmm.
he's a little nervous. You can see sweats rolling
Yeah.
down. He's
Yeah.
like,
Don't worry about my partner. He's just
"It's a big
helping
kiddo."
to quiet down your buddy there. Give you a chance to speak your mind.
He seems to as you're calming him because you're being influential. He's like, Derek's always been a dick. you know, I, you know,
Yeah.
I'm all in for trading skins, but not kids, man, not kids. That ain't right. That ain't right. I'm not about that, man. I swear I'll change my ways. Don't send me to prison, man. Don't send me. And sending him to prison is pretty much putting a bullet in his head because you're not gonna say prison doesn't work.
Hmm.
We all know that. So he's just like, "Oh man, all right." They took off in a gray van, heading to Cannibal Sector 1. All 7 of them were alive when I loaded them in there, man. There's a little girl. You gotta go get him, man. You gotta go get him, please. Go get him. Don't let him kill the little girl.
Yeah, we'll get him.
He gives
Do
you
you
the
have
make and model and the license plate of the vehicle, you know.
okay?
So,
All right. Get, will a combat cab go into cannibal sector?
well, they
Or
were
are we gonna?
heading towards, not going into, heading towards Cannibal
Okay, so
Sector,
they were heading
which
toward
we'll
it.
just say for
Okay.
argument's sake is east. They were heading east, and it
Okay.
gives you so at this point you have some options. You could use your radio gear and you could call the Shivers and tell them to stop this vehicle if they see it. You could basically
Hmm.
put out like an all points bulletin, or you could get a combat cab and haul ass, and be on the lookout for that vehicle and try to you know it's heading east, so you could just start going east on the major roads, and things like that. It's kind of up to you how you wish to proceed. But before you do that, what are you going to do with these three yokels? One is passed out. Ivan is obviously shit himself and is very compliant, and Derek the Dick is right now being muffled by the Stormer. Um,
Uh, yeah, I don't want to tell Ivan he can survive the night and then do anything bad to him. So,
right.
as far as I'm concerned, he's free to go unless there's some stricture that says I got to do something to him.
So
Um,
the handcuffs he has, they're like pretty large and bulky because they're made to do everybody, and you basically can take, you have like your badge, your SEO badge kind of slits into your armor right there, like you see the
mhm,
airplane people wear, but it's on your forearm, so
mhm.
you can just put your forearm to the locks and they'll fall off, they just clank and they fall to the
Okay,
ground. So he gets up and he's like, really, man, I can go.
yeah, get lost.
He is
Probably,
out the door.
yeah. As he's leaving, it's like probably don't want to see what's going to happen to these guys.
Yeah, he gets out the door, he gets about maybe one or two flights of stairs down, and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 and you know that's CAV or civilian firearms. The local tenants, they didn't let him live. You're pretty sure he's probably dead. Um, and the Derek guy, you see his eyes go wide, and he's like, but the Stormer, Garl's got his hands over his mouth, and
Mhm.
he's trying to struggle. The other guy's still passed out. What do you wish to do?
I think it was Derek, right? Derek's
Derek the
the
Dick,
Dick.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
I
pro.
will say, yeah, I'll say to him, yeah, I'm almost sorry to do this because you'll never learn. Uh, I mean, for obvious reasons, obviously. Uh, you, you want to take care of him, Call?
Yeah, I think he's gonna pull out his Mac knife and just because he's got slit his throat, get it done.
Nice.
Yeah,
So you can see
I'll make
at
sure
that
to.
point the one of the cameras kind of zooms in a little bit, and you can see the lens kind of comes out to get a nice close up of you just drawing your knife across his throat while he's and then he just
Yeah,
you see his eyes go wide, and but he's defiant to the end. What about the guy that's passed out?
I will use my knife on him and just sort of.
Yeah, just nice and slow, just
Walking Dead
Yep.
style.
yeah, and he just shudders for a second. Quick, painless death. You
Yeah.
can almost feel the ratings were going up, and then when you did that one, the ratings kind of went down a little bit because it was a merciful killing, no pain involved. But still, yeah, they are dealt with.
I also didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to wake him up.
It'd be rude, all right?
It's
He's
like
I would,
sleeping.
yeah, Cole would look at Drew. He's like, he sang like a bird.
Sing like a bird. All right, so are you going to call a combat cab, or are you going to call the shivers?
contact the shivers. I think if there are more eyes out there looking rather than
Yeah,
us in one cab,
yeah.
we'll have a better chance.
So you
And
put a call on the radio to the Shivers. You tell them the make and model of the van. Should be riding kind of low. It's got 7 bodies in there
Hmm.
plus the rest of the gang. And it takes about a minute or two, and then you get a respond back from Shiver Unit 306, and they say, yeah, we've got eyes on a possible suspect heading eastbound on Cannibal One. It's the name of a road. I just pulled it out of my ass. Made sense. Um, do you want us to stop them or detain them or what? Or just keep them under observation?
Keep them under observation. We're on route,
All right. So you
and then
guys,
get a
yeah,
combat cab.
yeah. And amazingly enough, normally it would take a couple minutes, especially in this part of town. It's not the greatest part of town. Not really that any part is a great part of town except for uptown, which is where the rich people live. But amazingly enough, you can see there's a combat cab comes, rolling around the corner and stops, and it's big enough. It's like a large van so that the Stormer can get in the back and you get in the
Hmm.
passenger seat, and you can see there's a guy with a stogie hanging out of his mouth, and he's like, it says combat cab on the
Hmm.
top, and you can see right above it is a camera. just rolling along, and you guys jump in it. You tell him where to go, and then boom,
Yep.
you take off. It takes you about 10 minutes, and you can see on the route that the Shivers told you, and you can see there's a Shiver patrol vehicle, a couple cars back, and then you can see in the distance, you can see the minivan. And yeah, sure enough, it's
Hmm.
you know it's riding like that. The back wheels are a little bit lower, and it's rolling along. It's going the speed limit as such as there is, but it's moving
Hmm.
briskly. What do you wish to do?
Yeah. Um, is it possible to is it possible to disable the vehicle as it's moving, or
Uh,
would the shoot out the axle?
yeah,
Um,
you could probably do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
also seems like yeah.
you could totally do that.
The, yeah, the thing I want to make sure that I don't do is do significant damage to the vehicle, specifically the people inside that we actually want to rescue.
Right.
Don't care about the other people, but ratings being ratings, we probably want them to get out and
So you want to shoot to disable the vehicle with
yeah.
your Fin 603 or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Your your
Yeah,
your large, heavy caliber giant
yeah.
gun.
My Power Reaper that does a minimum of
Yes,
5 damage.
yes, Gall. What do you?
While he does that, because Gull is all about like his nature is like he just wants to confront. That's what it says on his sheet.
Yeah.
So once he's doing that, he wants to get to the vehicle and jump out the combat vehicle to get to the other vehicle before those guys know what hit them or react or try to hurt the hostages. That's what he'll do.
Okay.
You know,
So
like
yeah.
in they can
So
think of
do you
doing.
ask the cabbie to slow down, or do you just bail out of the back?
I think it's like since we're doing a one shot, let's try the mechanics out.
All right. So go ahead and give me a. I'm trying to look up in the core book here his gun. Let me look at your character sheet. Because again, we're all learning here. Uh, and you're playing Gaul, right? The big Stormer. So go ahead and give me. Let's go with acrobatics. So give me a Dex acrobatic check. The vehicle's moving pretty fast. I'm going to say it's going to be a
Yeah.
complex section. You're going to need a 10.
I will do it after he takes the shot. That's when I jump out.
Okay. All right. So get your dice pool ready.
Yeah.
You're going to make the shot. The vehicle is moving. I'm going to say that's going to be a strenuous shot, buddy. That's going to be a 13, but I think you can pull it off. So that's going to be shooting your big old gun, which
Yeah,
is your Fen. Oh wait, you're the big bruiser, or you're the
Power Reaper.
Power Reaper. Dun dun dun. So the Power Reaper is your rifle skill, and I
Hmm.
think the rifle skill goes off of Dex. So you're going to add your Dex plus your rifle skill, and
Yep.
you're going to roll.
No good.
Well, here, hold on now, because you have a stat called luck,
Hmm.
and you have 3 points of luck. The cool part
All
about
right.
luck is you can do one of several things with it. You can spend a point of luck to re-roll your success die, or you can spend that point of luck to re-roll all the dice, or if you're like 1 or 2 points away, you could spend X amount of points of luck to add to the value of your success die. So, which one of those options sounds optimal? I mean, if you're within 3 points of hitting the target number, then you might want to just spend the 3 points of luck
Yeah.
and make
I
the.
I need it. I need a 6, and I
Ah.
rolled a 3 on the success die.
So you could spend your 3 points of luck, which is exactly how many you have, and you could make
Yep.
the target number. Now,
Yep.
making that target number, do any of the skill dice make it as well?
True.
Two. So that gives you an exceptional success. So the nice part is, so you hang out the window a little bit, you level your big ass rifle, and you kapow! You take a shot, and you're trying to shoot
Mm-hmm.
the axle or maybe the gearbox underneath. You can see the transfer
Mm-hmm.
box underneath. So you're probably trying to shoot that to disable the vehicle. And that weapon is pretty herky. What's the damage of that thing? Oh my god, it's 1d10 plus 2. Minimum damage is 5. You'll notice on your weapon profiles for melee as well as physical weapons, they have a rate of fire, in this case 310. So you would actually let off three shots. That's the minimum rate of fire for that gun.
Mm-hmm.
So Gaul, you hear pap pap pap, you know, and all of a
That's
sudden
my key. Jump up.
you would roll, and because you got a margin of success of 2, that's 2 rounds that hit. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, out of the 3 you shot, 2 hit. So go ahead and roll a 2d10 plus 2. You're gonna total them up individually.
6 and 12.
6 and 12 total. All right,
Yep.
nice. So not bad. So you did 18 points of damage to this transmission box, basically, and you see the vehicle start, and and literally after a second, there's smoke, there's sparks. You see the whole rear axle just pops out, right, and the vehicle just,
Mm-hmm.
it goes from riding like this to like this almost, because it's only got front wheels, and it's and
Yeah,
at
it's like
that point,
sparks.
yeah, there's sparks flying. The combat cab guy is like, Jesus Christ, because he just fired this giant rifle right next to his ear. At which point, our stormer, as the cabbie slams on the brakes, the stormer pops the back of the cab and dives out. And
Yeah.
and so make
You
your
said
roll.
what? Acrobatics?
Yeah, Dex plus acrobatics. Cristiano
Okay.
is watching. I see aging warriors here. Salutations. Thank
Right.
you, Cristiano.
All right.
Uh, so what'd you get?
So he has 4 decks and 2 ranks in acrobatics.
So a total of 6. And what's your success die?
Let me roll it now.
So you're gonna roll that plus 3 extra dice.
Okay, can I re-roll because I rolled a 1?
Yes, you can spend, and you can now. Are you gonna re-roll all the dice, or you're just gonna re-roll one of them?
No.
You're
How
gonna
many dice is it?
what's
The
your
rest?
acrobatics skill? 2.
Okay. Acrobatics was sorry. It's my acrobatics is at rank 2,
Okay, so
and
you're gonna roll a success die and 3 extra
yeah, I'm gonna
dice.
re-roll success.
All right, so re-roll your
Only the
success.
success.
So you spend a point of luck.
Yeah, that's much better. What was the challenge? I think
I
I don't
said a
know. I don't
10.
think I made
Well, what's your
one.
total?
No, I did not make it.
Well, you had
It's
6.
3 plus 9. I didn't make it.
So okay, that's fine because you spent a point of luck. So now you're down. I believe your character has 3 points of luck as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So Drew, you line up the shot. You've got the transfer box square in your sights. Pap pap pap. 3-round burst. Axle goes flying off. Vehicle goes skidding out. Everybody, traffic, all the cars that are around go, the
Mm-hmm.
combat cab comes up to a stop about 100, 120, 130 feet behind it. Right as it's slowing down, Gaul just pops the back and jumps out, goes into a barrel roll. But instead of doing a barrel roll, he belly flops and he just slides, and you see sparks coming off. He's just scratched up the front of his armor. You don't take any damage. You just definitely don't look cool. But what does look cool is though you're in this Superman, belly flop as you're sliding across the concrete, the pavement, as sparks fly off your suit. You're able to get back up and you turn around and you go running after. At which point, all the bad guys jump out. And now we're going to go into initiative. So now initiative is going to be, I believe it's your dex modifier. Uh, well, whatever your dex
Dex,
is.
And
Dex plus
there is a
concentration.
modifier on the page.
Yeah, dex and concentration. Total that together, and you're going to add a 1d10. So I'm going to roll for the bad guys, and I got a total of 10.
12.
All right.
12 as well.
All right. So you guys go first. So in Slay, in combat, you get one action. It's not like D&D where you get a maneuver or a movement and an action. But one of the cool things that you can do in Slay is you can charge. So like for the Stormer, you could do your close distance charge, your close movement, and then make an attack at the end of that turn as long as the target is at range. Now what they say is everybody declares their action from lowest to highest so that we know the bad guys are going to get out and they're going to shoot because, well, they're being chased by Slay operatives and a Stormer. So they're shitting their pants, and somebody just made an awesome shot and shot out. They don't even know what happened. They just know the vehicle failed. When they jumped out, all they see is, a slop guy with a big gun and then a Stormer running at them. So there's probably a little pucker factor there. Not a whole lot, but enough to make them aware that shit is going down. So the way the combat mechanics work is you would state what the lowest initiative guys are doing up to the highest. And I don't agree with that because A, I think it takes too much time, and B, I understand what they're going for. What they want to dissuade or have you not do is, you say you're going to charge and the bad guys run, right? So now it's a hunt and peck, but I don't think I think it just slows the game down. So you guys get to go first. Obviously, if you shoot and or get into close combat range with them, they're going to have to adjust accordingly. So who wants to go first? Drew or Garl?
Yeah, my action is really simple, and it's take drugs.
Take try.
Oh yeah.
And so, what does Rush do for you when you take it?
It
And
allows me to take more actions, I believe.
ooh,
Let me find that. Yeah. Effect is make a second action per combat round after all other actions have been resolved. 2 hour duration.
so it lasts for 2 hours.
Mhm.
Is there any side effects or anything?
Side effect is every 2 doses minus 2 hit points.
Ooh, so every 2 doses. Does it say by chance how many doses you've started with?
I don't think there's anything. Um,
Equipment. Look at the equip section.
Yeah,
Weapons and all.
page 20.
well, I have 5 doses.
Yeah, so we're saying you're
Um,
starting out, you just took a dose, so you're fine. You don't have any
yeah.
penalties or anything. Every 2 doses, it's minus 2 hit points. So yeah, you're
Mhm.
fine. You're ducky.
Yeah.
And you,
And it'll actually last 2 hours 30 minutes for me
wow. So
because I have drug resistance.
yeah. So the Fen 706 Power Reaper 2.1000 is this gun right there. So you can see what it looks like. It's this one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a beast of a heavy cannon. Uh, Weight factor is increased by 1 when the weapon is used with a belt of ammunition. Yikes. But it holds a clip of 70 or 170 if you go belt fed. So you can just rock and roll all night long. So awesome. So yeah, you
Yeah.
jump out. You jump out and you pop your drug doser, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you are like. Does it say when that happens? Does it happen the moment you inject it, or does it take a round?
Um,
I would imagine you probably get it right now. So you spend an action to inject yourself, and then you
yeah.
probably get your second action once it gets in your system. And if
An
not, we're gonna say
auxiliary action to use it. Uh, apparently, drugs were altered significantly for the quick start.
yes. Well, the only one
Um,
listed is the rush. There's full rules on it, by the way, and you have
yeah.
a drug injector. I forgot what it's called, like a C pass or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything
Okay,
here
then we're gonna
glancing
we're gonna
through that.
we're gonna go with yeah. You get your second action
All right. Well, I'm going to spend some money.
now.
Uh,
Are you saying that bullet tax is going to come into effect?
yep. Um,
So the cameras, you see, there's another camera now. So there's like 4 cameras all around up in the air. There's one kind of low. There's one actually right, literally buzzing right by your shoulder. But
mhm.
these cameras are an everyday fact of life now.
Yeah.
It's like people with a cell phone in their hand nowadays. You just come to
Mhm.
expect it. You don't go, ooh, that's a nice cell phone. You just go, oh yeah. You don't even recognize it. So this camera is like
Mhm.
right here over your shoulder,
Yeah.
and you bring that 706 up, you start marking targets. What are you gonna do?
Mhm. Um, unless there's a target that just sort of
It's a
makes itself an
there's
obvious
about
target,
there
I'm just gonna
there's
pick
six
one and shoot.
there's six guys. They've got like shotguns. Some of them got some fens. Some basic semi-automatics.
Hmm.
One guy's got what looks like a machete. Another guy's got like a mallet. And they jump out and they're like look like they're gonna
Yeah,
start running towards you. One of them's raising up. His SMG. But from this range, you're like, that's just gonna bounce off my armor
yeah.
unless it's a
I'm not
pretty.
gonna shoot the guys with the melee weapons because I
That's what a
mean,
stormer's for.
yeah, that's who Gaul gets to play with. I'll shoot one of the
Exactly.
ones with
Yeah,
a
there's
weapon.
two that have one has a shotgun and one has a Fen 306, which is illegal. He's not supposed to have that anyway. That's
Yeah,
the starting weapon you start with.
yeah.
So
I'll
illegal.
shoot the guy with the shotgun.
Okay.
And 3 shots at him.
Oh. Okay. So
Well, that's the minimum that I could shoot.
right, right, right. So go ahead and roll it. I mean, he's about 120 feet away, so he's definitely within range.
All
Um,
right. Um.
and we'll double check ranged combat just to make sure we have uh, we got your rate of fire. You could also aim if you so desired, and each aim would give you a +1. And the fact that you have
Uh.
combat drugs in you, you could aim for a +1 and then take your shot.
Yeah, I think that would be an action though, for me to do that right now.
Yes,
So I would only be able to aim, and one of them would live for a fraction of a second longer than he should.
right. Uh,
I really wish I could have a copy of my character open and a copy of the rest of the rules that I could scroll through.
oh well, you could if you did
Same.
do a screenshot. You're using Windows 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, use
yeah,
Snippet and just take two screenshots of your character sheet, and then or a double page. If you scroll down, and then that way you could have them both open. Um,
true. Yeah. Um,
that's just an option. I'm not telling you what to do, obviously.
drugs, rate of fire.
Give me 1 second while you're looking that up. I'm gonna go check on my son because I think I hear him. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Alrighty. So you got it figured out?
So it's a static target number of 10.
Yep.
Um,
Bam.
and I don't see anything in here about. Um, yeah, only thing I'm seeing about range is if the target is further away than half the range. It's its long range.
Yeah. You're right at that, but you're okay because you
Okay.
got 220 for that giant freaking gun.
Right. So I have 12 on my success
Oh,
die, plus three more.
oh my gosh. So all three shots hit. So you can roll damage, and I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that this dude probably explodes in a puff of smoke, a fine red mist. But let's roll the damage and see, and I'll see.
All right. So 6, 5, and 12.
Oh my god. Oh, yikes.
Got to remember to just add +2 to these and
Yes.
not the minimum damage.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, if it's less than the minimum damage,
Yep.
then that's what you
Yeah,
get.
I had only one of them that was less than, so it became 5.
Oh, that's just horrible. You're a bad, bad person. I love it. Uh, so these guys aren't good enough to be Dark Knight. They are just schmucks. Some of the monsters and stuff in this book are amazing, by the way. Uh, just the great shit that they have done. Um, but what I'm looking for is serial killers. Shivers. Um,
This is like a cool game. I like the world of this
yeah,
game.
Mm-hmm.
more the world
Yeah.
of progress, which is the universe, is very dark. It's always raining. It's always this acid rain, so you don't want to be out in it too long. Uh, but I'm looking for just the stats for a dude, and because they don't give it in the starting adventure, which is in the GM's book. This adventure is out of the GM screen, so it is. All right, we'll just go with this. So, how much damage did you do total? All three shots?
All three shots is uh um 23.
Oh my god! So yeah, you killed this guy twice over. So it's literally so the first shot hits him like in the abdomen. You just see the back of him blow out. The second shot creeps up, because of the recoil of the weapon, shoots
Mm-hmm.
up and hits him in the mid chest. And then the third shot, just his head is gone, and there's just this torso with legs that's barely holding on. That just
Mm-hmm.
the sickening splurch as it hits the ground. Yes, you have successfully done away with that. So, Garl, you have a closing speed on your character sheet. What is it?
Closing speed of this guy would be a 3.
A
I'm guessing
3.
3 meters,
Yeah. Is it? It's on here. Where does it see it?
or does he use rushing for
Yeah.
charging?
Yeah. Closing and rushing. You would use rushing. So, yeah. So we're gonna say, for brevity's sake, that you spend this round running to get over there. So do you have a hand weapon, or are you just using your claws? Because you
Uh,
have some weapons. You have those
yeah,
knuckle
yeah.
dusters,
The Stormer
chuckle
Duster.
duster.
Yeah.
Just cracks me up because I get the joke. Um,
I don't know if I think it's some kind of axe or something, or is it?
the chuckle duster is no, it's unarmed. It's. I'll find. I think there's a picture of it in the book.
Like brass knuckles.
It's like brass knuckles, yeah. So let me find the melee weapons. Um, if they, I would hope they have a picture of it, and they don't.
Yeah.
And
One of the
that
things that this game really reminds me of is Dredd.
is what?
It's Judge Dredd.
Yes. Well, it is definitely a British game,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people did in the day use it to simulate Judge Dredd. So
Mm-hmm.
that was
It
not.
was this I think when Jared and the GRC talked about it, he said when they came up with this game, I think they were competing with White Wolf or something like that. So they're like
Mm,
own dark.
Yeah, their own dark world. They were heavily influenced by Judge Dredd in AD
mhm.
2000 or 2000 AD, which was a British comic, very popular. And then, of course, that's where Judge Dredd came from, if I remember correctly. So yeah,
Yeah.
very very popular in that European, English area. And then, of course, the Vampire the Masquerade. Their initial game mechanic was very similar, except for combat it was very complex because you had to take the penetration value of the weapon versus the armor value, of the armor, and then the caliber of the round. It was a nightmare to run combat, but it was such a cool setting that everybody put up with
Mhm.
it. And then when the games, when this resurgence of role playing games came back, everybody was just banging on their door for Jared and the other guy, can't think of his name right now, to redo Slay.
Mark
It's is it Mark? It's Jared and Dave Alsop. Dave
uh,
Alsop, Jared Earl, and then Mark Rapson. And Mark, I think, did a lot of the art, logistics as well. Yeah, and he's part of Nightfall Games. But Dave Alsop and Jared Earl are the brain children behind this game. And I've had the pleasure of talking with Dave Alsop, and I even reached out to him on his Facebook group, and I was like, "When are we going to see a Slay 2.0?" And he was like, "Soon." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "I run this show, Mr. Mean Speaks, blah blah blah," and so he's agreed to come on the show. I just have to reach out to him. So and set up a time because of
Awesome.
course he's in Europe. And then I talked on as a side note, and thanks everybody who happens to be watching. I did talk to Andy. Um, I can never remember his name. Staples. Andrew.
and
Andy.
and
He's
Andy
coming on the.
Staples,
He's coming on the show next week. We're going to do our interview again next Wednesday.
Andy Staples.
Yeah, amazing guy. Just I can. I'm getting a little fatigued. I'm a little tired. My son was really sick on Friday. Was projectile vomiting from 9 o'clock at night till 4 a.m. So I still haven't caught up on my sleep. He's fine now. He's great. But so um, the 706 goes off. This guy turns into just a pile of mist as you make that awesome shot. The cameras cut over and we see the stormer just charging down the lane as these guys are like, one of the guys with the hammer starts charging at you. He's frothing at the mouth. Evidently, he might be on some combat drugs as well. Um, and then the guy with the shotgun's like, and he's coming to run to you. I have a funny feeling
Oh,
he's not gonna make it.
the the shotgun. Unless there are more than one shotgun, the shotgun guy is the one I targeted.
Oh, okay. Well, the shotgun guy is dead. It's the other guy with the Fin 306 that is chambering around in this heavy pistol, and he's like, rah, you know. Um, so that's your round. Now these guys go. They spend their round running. The one guy with the pistol is going to shoot, and I'm gonna say he's gonna roll 3 dice, and he's obviously going to shoot the stormer that is barreling down at him. He's at long range, so he's going to take a penalty. So instead of a 10, it's going to be an 11. Oh, and because they're NPCs, they don't get luck. And I rolled a 1 on my success die. So, needs to say the gun jams. Because I rolled 2 1s actually. So he's like, oh, click, 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 click. And he throws it down and he pulls out some sort of like nightstick and looks like he's going to start running towards you. So we go back to the top of the round. And actually, for you, uh, Drew, I want you to make a. Let's see here. What would be like a perception check? I want you to make a detect. So it's concentration plus detect, and I'm going to say it's going to be a complex check. So you're going to need a 10 or better.
Whoa. Success die is a 12.
So you
And
succeeded.
I got successes on all three of my other
Oh
dice.
my
So
gosh.
four.
So you kind of see it before, like it's everything for you. Maybe it's the rush. Everything's moving in slow mo, you know, and you see the guy with the the pistol. He threw it down. He reaches on it like he's got like a combat harness, and he pulls this thing off and he flicks a switch, and you can see it looks like a dead man switch. And he looks back at the van, and he looks back at the Stormer, and he's raising his hand up to go click. You know,
All right.
what do you do?
Uh, if I shoot at him and I miss, can I shoot again or can I only attack once?
Well, you have a 3 shot round, so you get
Okay.
3 shots. You're out of
So
luck,
I
right? Because you spent all
yep,
three
get
of your luck.
yep.
You get 2 actions though, so you could, in essence, shoot a second time. You know,
Yeah.
and there is a bullet
For
tax. You fired 3 rounds already, so you want to keep track.
I fired 6.
You fired 6, so you want to keep track of those. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so funny enough, in
if
the
you
rule
take an
book,
action
go ahead, Nasser.
to aim, gives you a +1. I think if you take an action to aim, that gives you a +1. Then you can that increases. I think your
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah. I'll go
possible.
ahead and aim.
Okay.
I'll aim and try to shoot him.
Okay. Now? Are you aiming for his head? Are you aiming center mass? Are you doing a called shot to his hand with the detonator in it? He hasn't pushed the button yet. He's, for you, it's all moving in slow mo. So he's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's that slow mo.
Uh,
I'm bad at slow mo, but you know what I mean.
right. Mechanically, I imagine shooting his thumb off is probably not something accounted for in the rules.
I don't see
If
why not. It would just raise the target number. You're already going to get a
yeah,
plus
if
one frame. Your target number is a 10. And if I'm saying you're
yeah,
going to try and like shoot his wrist or shoot his hand to get rid of the
hmm
detonator or obliterate the detonator, because this is a heavy caliber
hmm
round, so I would assume if you shot his whole hand would just, you know, it'd be
hmm
like putting a 50 caliber through a watermelon. It's there's
yeah,
nothing of the watermelon left.
right.
So
I'll go ahead and aim for his hand.
all right, so I'm going to say the difficulty is going to be a 13. It's going to be strenuous, but I think you can make
Okay,
it. Now, if you miss,
and
that means you missed his hand, and we'll say you probably hit his one of the rounds will hit his body, and then the other
mhm.
two could go into the van. Could happen. So don't fumble. As I say that, he rolls a 1.
I rolled 2 ones. My success die was a 10, though.
So the 2 1s don't matter because you did
Right.
succeed.
Um, so it's success die and one more.
All right, so an extra success. So 2 bullets
Yep.
hit. So the first bullet literally obliterates his hand, and we'll say the second bullet, just zips right through. So he's like,
hmm
and then all of a sudden there's no hand there, and he's like,
hmm
you could just see in his mind,
Yeah.
his mind's going, push the button, you moron, but there's no button to
hmm
push because there's no detonator, there's no hand, and you, as the stormer is just, you just hear this retort of kapow, and then you just see his hand turn into mist, and he's going because his hand is gone, which shock is going to set in by the time you get there. So he's
hmm
probably not a threat anymore. But then we go to you. What are you doing, sir? I'll say by this time you're able to get there. So you get
all
in,
right. So
and the guy with the mallet is charging towards you. So it's melee on melee. What do you wish to do?
says I want to ask you about a few things because I couldn't find the rulings for them,
Okay.
which is I have a trait called anger and ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous
Which means,
just means you can use either hand. You take no penalties, and that's a
so
trait.
does that mean I could attack with both hands, or is it
No, no,
like
it just means that using a weapon you don't suffer in. If you're
uh,
right, say you're right-handed and you're page 4, the character is able to perform equally well with both left and right hands. As such, the character may ignore any negative modifiers or increase in difficulty to any skill test due to having to use their offhand. So you just don't suffer any penalties. And then
nice,
what was
nice
your other one? Anger or arrogant?
anger?
Anger, as that was a trait.
Yes.
I don't see anger. Or wait, maybe it's under. It's a skill. Is it a skill or a trait?
It's a trait. It says it's where it's a trait here for me.
Yeah, it's not in here. It goes. Oh, anger. There it is. The character suffers from serious anger problems, leading to personality, vi- leading to persistently violent and antisocial behavior or spiteful outburst. A character with anger must prioritize attacking any combatant who has already attacked them until the combatant is unconscious, dead, or no longer a threat. If the character is attacked by multiple combatants, they are free to choose the order in which they look to neutralize them. The character will also refuse to retreat from combat if any combatant that has attacked them is still standing, even fighting through their own squad mates in order to finish the job. The player is expected to roleplay this heightened sense of aggression.
All right.
So yeah, you're just angry.
Yeah.
You're the Incredible
So
Hulk.
I'm assuming that the duster is on my right hand, and I have a dagger on my left, right, as I'm
Uh,
charging.
yeah, well, you have the Fen blade or
Yeah,
the Slay
Mac.
blade. Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. He's gonna charge into him, and what I'm gonna try to do uh, is smash him in the face
Okay.
with the duster,
Okay.
but at the same time try to lift him and throw him at the guy behind him,
Okay,
if it's
so
possible.
no, it's not because you get one action in combat. So you're going to hit him really hard. The
All
byproduct
right.
of hitting him really hard may be that he flies into the guy behind him, depending on how well you succeed. So it's your combat versus well, there's really no dodge, right? Yeah, it's just your combat versus a static number of 10. Or no, that's for ranged hand to hand.
I think it's the same.
Yeah, I
It's
think it is. Well, you're considered to be charging right now.
yeah,
So
unarmed attack. It's unarmed combat because I'm using the
raises.
duster.
All right, AD. Okay, we know that. Hand-to-hand attack modifier. Charging a target. -1 to success die and +1 to skill die success. Uh, the following modifiers apply to base target number of 10 for all rolls. So charging a target, you get a -1 to your success die. So whatever you roll is minus by 1 because you're running. But you get a +1 to your skill die successes. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So your success die will be -1, but all your skill dice will be +1.
Cool.
All right.
So, question: it's unarmed combat is rank 2,
Yep.
and I'm assuming I use my strength for this, so that's a 7 total.
So that is melee, right? So yeah, it's
Yes.
strength.
That's
So it's
unarmed.
yeah, unarmed.
All right.
Yeah, unarmed combat is strength. So it'll be 2 dice plus the +1 bonus dice, but he is charging you as well, so you're going to be at a -2 to your success die, but a
Okay.
+1 to your skill die. And I think
Okay.
you
Okay.
have some luck points left. Because remember, you can
No,
use
I'm
a
good.
yeah,
So it's the question is how it's 5 dice, right? That I'm
yeah.
rolling.
You're rolling 5 dice. The skill dice. What did you get on this on the success die?
Uh, what I got is 6 plus 7,
So six.
which is
Is that
my
-2 after the -2 for the success
uh,
die? What did you
yeah.
roll
I
on the
guess
success die?
it becomes 5 plus 6, so it's an
Okay,
11.
so it's an 11. So you hit. Um, so
Yes.
now the skill dice, the other 4 dice, you get to add +1 to those. Whatever their
Okay.
total on the die is, you add +1 plus your whatever it is for your strength plus unarmed combat.
All right. So I got 3 successes on the skill.
Okay, so your success die was a success, and then you got 3 after that. So that's a +3 skill dice. That's an incredible success. But what that means for melee is it's going to really hurt, is what it means. Resolving the hit was a failure. If the hit was a success, the defender has been struck by the attack and will suffer damage according to the profile of the weapon. Margins of success is used during attacks to modify the damage inflicted by the strike. For full information on how to resolve damage from a single, see damage. All right, so we've got that. Let's go to damage. So we know you've hit. Margins of success. The margin of success gained when rolling the hit. All right, so you had +3 success dice. That is
Yes.
+4 to damage, or you can hit a leg. So you have hit to the leg, randomize which leg is hit. The leg inflicts damage as normal. In addition, if the attack causes the target to lose at least 2 hit points, they also receive a wound to the leg and suffer the following penalties. The target may only move using the closing speed. The target receives a -2 modifier to all strength and dex. So you're basically, if both legs are wounded, the target gains the immobile condition. So you have just foobarred this guy. So, and on top of that, in hand-to-hand combat, particularly strong combatants are capable of inflicting additional damage with weapons on account of their brute force that they naturally strike with. To reflect this, the following modifiers are applied to all attacks made with any weapon that uses. Well, you didn't use the melee weapon skill, or did you? Did you used your knuckle
Combat.
dusters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that counts, right? The knuckle dusters. What's the damage on those? The damage is 2d
2d10.
-4. So minimum damage of 8. So you're going to roll 2d10 -4. So you're going to roll 2d10, add them together, and subtract 4.
All right.
Uh,
2d10 -4, right?
right. 2d10, total that, and then subtract 4.
All right. That's 5. Do I add my strength modifier?
No, you add the +4 for you. It was +4 damage. So your 5 becomes. Oh
9.
wait, you're using. You have a strength of 5,
Yes.
so that's +1 damage because of your strength. So you're adding 5 plus 5 is 10. You did 10 damage. And in AD, what does AD stand for? I think that's armor. What does it say? AD of 0. I want to remember what AD stands for. I think it's armor. AD. The amount of armor damage inflicted to the target's armor. Armor damage is discussed. Okay, yeah. So 10 points of damage. So you literally punch this guy so hard that you have crushed his armor, right? And
Mm.
he is internally bleeding in his femoral artery. You just because you're bigger than him, you just came down and punched, and he tried to move, and you just hit him in the leg, and like you shattered his femur. So he goes down screaming, and he's internally bleeding. He is out of the fight. You have foobarred this guy beyond all recognition. So almost as deadly as the firearm, but deadly enough in its own right. So yes, you
And
foobarred.
far less expensive.
And yes, and you could see there's 2 cameras on you, and there's a third one zooming in as well because you're a stormer. I mean, and why wouldn't you be? So yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, you're a bad person. Uh, yeah, that's yeah, you're definitely you're a bad guy. Um,
Who's next?
you know what? For that, you shot 2 guys already. You've literally punched a guy in the leg and pretty much killed him. Let me see. The leader was the guy with the baton. So we're gonna be generous and oh, oh my gosh. So the success die rolled a 1. One of the skill dice rolled a 1, the other skill die rolled a 2, and the third skill die rolled a 6. This guy throws his baton down, drops to his knees, and says, please, please, surrender, and then the other guys kind of 2 of them, because let's see, you killed 2, you killed 1, that's 3. There was 4 left, so the leader drops, that leaves 3. The other 3 run, they scatter. The shivers take off after them. Uh, you have rescued the 7 civilians. They are tied and bound and gagged. They're actually drugged. They're like sleeping like babies because if you don't struggle, there's you don't
Mhm.
damage the goods. And you've got the leader of these flesh skin traders. His name is Zach, and you've caught him. So you have successfully completed the BPN, and it was caught on film. obviously it was being broadcast, so you've made somewhat of a name for yourself, and everyone is like, you're starting to get like on your text and everything, because everybody's got communicators, and you're like, oh man, that Stormer was awesome, oh my god, that Frother, and you see that shot, the message boards are starting to blow up, people are noting. So now the nice part is your security clearance level, your SCL is now 10.2. So you're growing in the ranks, and you each can mark down 200 credits for money. And you have successfully completed your first BPN, and thus succeeded in this intro adventure to Slay Industries. So
Nice.
I fist bump my partner and I say,
you
"Nice
break his
shooting,
hand.
partner."
He goes to fist bump with his right hand, and then he goes, "Oh wait,
I'm guessing his arm it's awkward as well.
uh,
Like,
I
I,
don't know, man.
I go grab the guy's arm I shot off and fist bump with that.
um, so as you can see, the bullet tax is deducted, so you get basically about 100 credits for you. The Stormer gets his full 200. Now, so that's basically Slay in a nut job. And you take on various. There's all kinds of BPNs. I think there were six, nine,
Mhm.
12. Yeah, there was 12 in the GM screen, which is kind of an overarching story. So you can use them as I did, but there's 12 in here. I think there's 6 in the rule book, and then I think there's 3 or 6 in the players pack, the quick start.
Mhm.
And then there's some blank copies. Um, the original game had all these different forms that you had to the GM. It even told you were required as a GM to make the players fill this out and stand in line, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, that's a blank BPN. I don't know how well you
Mhm.
can see that. And you just fill it in, and then there's blank NPC blocks for the GM, and then blank character sheets, and stuff like that. So the quick start, I think, for a buck to under $2, I think to me was totally worth it. So we'll start with Nasser. What did you think, sir? What did you like? What did you dislike?
I didn't see anything that I didn't like. I actually liked everything about this game. Um, I I don't know about that part when you were talking about the initiative part, where you have to tell like the person,
The lowest
like
initiative
you have,
goes first and states what they're doing,
yeah,
and then the fastest person. So the initiative way it works is everybody rolls initiative, and then whoever goes last states first what they're going to do. And to me, that just takes too long. Right? I mean, if I was playing
um,
in an in-house campaign, I might use it if everybody knew the rules really well. This was kind of, just an introductory primer and kind of get a taste for it. So I didn't feel that it was pertinent. It is part of the rules, and I can see it makes sense. I don't personally like it though. I think one of the
that's for the
reasons.
metagame.
Right, and it's kind of metagaming, but what they're saying is because you guys were going first, you would see what the bad guys are doing because they're going to go last, and they want to prevent the like because in this game obviously it's really about close combat, so uh, the bad guys know that, so they're going to try to run away, and since they go last. Or if they go first, they're going to get to run away from you, and then you're going to be playing this cat and mouse. And the rules even tell you as a GM you should penalize players for trying to do that. So if you were fighting something that was tougher, and you tried to do the cat and mouse thing where you ran away and let the shooter shoot at them and you kept running away, so he kept chasing you, I'm supposed to penalize you. And to me that's not necessarily fun. That's the only downside of the game that I don't like. But as far as mechanics go, I mean, even it's the first time I've run it in
Very
20 plus years, and it's a new system. It was pretty smooth. I mean, there was a few stumbling blocks, but we're on the spot playing
I
live.
think
Easy,
I
easy.
think we got the. Yeah, oh yeah, very easy to pick up. I
Yeah,
think we got the range damage wrong.
yeah,
I think it's still only like one die, but there are modifiers based on
yeah.
success.
Right.
But
Yeah, it works.
mistakes happen, and quick start stuff.
Yeah, and I didn't read the because I'm more brushed up on the close combat stuff. But that's like you said,
Hmm.
that's fine. I know there's modifiers for your successes, and I think it
Yeah,
does step the damage up a little bit, or you can choose locations and things like that. So there's
yeah.
there's definitely options there. The emphasis isn't on ranged combat, but yet you can totally make a sniper in this game. Your guy
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily a sniper; he was just a heavy weapons dude. But you had the skills to rock it, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And then of course, rush doesn't hurt. You take a dose of rush, and you're like, "Wah!"
Hmm.
Everything's hyper
Yeah.
surreal. It's like slow mo and Judge Dredd. So,
Hmm.
okay, Nasser. So you liked it. Now you got to play this once before, right?
No, when it was available in the convention, I
Oh,
did
that's
not
right.
sign. I didn't sign up for it. It's just my redemption.
Well, I'm glad I could provide. So
Hmm.
from Nasser, it's a buy. You would buy this. You would play this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was planning on buying Slay Industries bi- because of they're just nice guys when we had them in the
so you had them on the
GRC convention.
GRC, yeah. I'll tell you, the fiction in the world, everything that Jared has written is amazing. It is one of the best, well-written RPGs I've read in a long time. I really like the prose and the world view that they give you in the game, and the art in the book is phenomenal. They were a little bit late on their Kickstarter, but not horrendously so. There is a miniatures game based off of this. It's called Cannibal Sector One, and it uses the same dice mechanics and everything. But they put out miniatures. It was kind of a fiasco, but they recovered and people got their rewards. So it didn't make them look bad. It was the fulfillment company they were using to facilitate the whole Kickstarter that kind of hosed them, and things went south. But luckily, they recovered. They were able to get the miniatures to everybody. I still haven't gotten a copy of Cannibal Sector 1. I want one, but I think it's hard to get now. Because, it's like anything. If it's late and it's delayed a pretty decent amount of time, a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth. So I don't
It's
think
gonna be
yeah, I don't think you can buy a copy of Cannibal Sector 1. I could be wrong, and if Jared or Dave or watch by chance watch this and they want to send me a copy, I'll be more than happy to review it because I love miniature games, and I love Slay Industries. I love the whole world and the setting. So with that being said, Cosmic Flux, what did you think, sir?
I really liked it. Earlier we
Yay!
were talking about sort of the uh, we were talking about the game, and I thought it has this very cinematic feel to it, where it's like
yeah.
I could almost see this as like a movie or a series of movies,
Yeah,
where you're following this team of slops, and I'm almost surprised that something like that hasn't happened yet.
right.
But it was thinking about that where I made the connection. It feels a lot like Dread,
Yeah,
especially the one they had more recently,
the movie.
where yeah,
Yeah, with
yeah,
Carl Urban.
yeah,
Great. One
yeah.
of my favorite movies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, super fast, really quick to pick up.
yeah.
I think under better circumstances, I think as far as the layout of my character in the book and all of that, I probably would have taken more time to set it up to where I was fumbling less as I was trying to
Well,
figure out.
and
But
let's figure we had less than
yeah,
5 hours to prepare for this game.
right, yeah,
So,
yeah,
this was a John's got a, Mr. Mean's got a wild hair up his ass and wants to run something
hmm,
because he didn't get to play Friday night, so he's jonesing to do
hmm,
something. And you poor
yeah,
slobs were the two guinea pigs that agreed
yeah,
to live in my demented world. So thank you
yeah,
so much. Much
hmm,
props to you guys. You
yeah,
guys made it happen. So I appreciate it. Yeah, it's for me. This is a win. I loved. I mean,
hmm,
I gave you guys. I bought you guys a copy of the Quick Start. So definitely check it out, read it. If it's something that interests you, I wholly encourage you to pick up the core rulebook. It's beautiful. The artwork
I
in it is very evocative, and just the writing and the way that the authors approach the subject matter is really well done. And
hmm,
it's a dark, depressing world, man. But the game is not so much about the violence. It's really about the choices and the truth capital TRUTH, that as you progress through these BPNs and you find out, you start out as this, bushy-eyed, eager to take on the world, yay, Mr. Slayer kind of guy. And then as you progress through this story and through this world, and you see how dark it is and how oppressive Mr. Slayer and the world of progress really is, that you're like, oh God, this guy's an ass. This is not, and you just, so how far down the rabbit hole do you go for your own gain
Yeah.
is kind of the underlying concept of Slay. It's, you know, how long do I look into the beast before I become the beast, And
Mhm.
I like those type of games. I like those games that are dark on the edges and you don't realize how dark it is until you're knee deep in it and then it's too late. And this
Mhm.
is that type of game. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for indulging me. That was just a quick, we would obviously would go through it. We'd make our own characters so that the character creation process is pretty easy. It's just a bunch of picks. There's very little dice rolling involved. And yeah, you just make some choices and you have this character that's, I think even these pre-gens were pretty fleshed out. You felt like you knew a little bit about them,
Mhm.
and they gave you a little blurb, a paragraph or two of the characters so that you kind of had an idea of who and what they were about, which is nice. And the GM screen, like I said, I did the Kickstarter. You can see the art there is
Very beautiful.
and the inside of the GM screen, there is no wasted space. They did a really good job with it, and all the pertinent charts are there. And I mean, it's a solid GM screen. It's really well made.
Mhm.
So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the quick start. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully everybody at home that's watching enjoyed it. And all I can say is maybe we'll do more one day. Maybe we'll
Yeah, that was fun.
make actual characters. So Cosmic, if you actually pick up the book and you decide to make a character, let me know. I'd be happy to run this again. I really love
Mhm.
Slay. I think it's a very cool world. It's very dark and foreboding, but you can do good in it. You don't have to be,
Mhm.
the stormer that's crushing heads and making brains squirt out the eye socket. But that was freaking cool. As an
Mhm.
intimidation factor goes, that was freaking cool. So yeah. So any questions from either one of you or anything?
Uh,
Mhm.
I think I'm convinced. Like as I was reading the quick start rules, I was like, "Wow, why didn't I sign up for this one back then?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and the
It
thing
always
is,
takes something to convince me to play a new game. Like,
yeah, yeah, it's well, the thing is too, there's only so much money to go around for Kickstarters. Like, um, you know, Hobbs turned me on to against or not against the Dark Master, against uh, Weird Frontiers, which I'm a huge DCC fan, and Weird Frontiers is like an homage to like Deadlands, Call of Cthulhu, you know, the Wild West, spaghetti westerns, with cultists and everything using the DCC rule set. And I'm like, if I'd have known about that Kickstarter, I'd have gone all the way in. I'd have been, $200 in easily. I wouldn't have even blinked. And it's just, and I mean, I read Morris. Morris's D20 Underworld, where they highlight a bunch of different Kickstarters. I get a news feed from World Press on upcoming Kickstarters, and I still missed it. Because there's so much out there. I saw on from Morris, I saw Coyote. Uh, what is it? Coyote and Wolf or Coyote and Moon?
Coyote and Crow.
Coyote and Crow, which is a another Kickstarter that is completely written and designed by all Native Americans. And as some of you know, I'm half Osage Indian, and so for me, that kind of thing, it strikes home because there is no Native American RPG, and this RPG it's a futuristic RPG, it's a sci-fi RPG that takes the prose of what if Columbus never discovered America, and the natives were left to their own devices and developed their technology and everything. And so it's really cool. And so I did a little primer. I think Nasser watched the video, um, and I backed that. I went in, $50 gets you a PDF and a core copy of the core rulebook. They have a pledge where you can actually buy a copy and send it to a reservation, which I may, after the Kickstarter's over, I may up it to that, so that they're sending copies to reservation libraries as well, which I think is super cool. So,
Mhm.
but like again, I stumbled across that one, and then there's another one for LED dice, which I backed hard because it'll work with Foundry VTT and Roll20. I don't. I'm not really a big user of Roll20, but I use Foundry a lot, and so I backed that Kickstarter. And that should be coming out real soon. So I'm excited to. So because I love rolling real dice. Like tonight, like when I game with you guys, we typically roll real dice, And I got my awesome little dice tray, and yeah, there you go. That's the one you 3D printed,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
this is the second one that I 3D
Oh,
printed.
this is the
But
second
yeah.
one I printed.
Well, the other one I ran out of filament partway through, so
Oh,
it changed. So it's like this two-toned, which is kind of weird.
feel
I
free
thought
to
well, I
send
could
it to
print it.
Mr. Mean. I'd be more than happy to use it.
Yeah. I thought I could print it, but yeah, it's like the dice go in here and
Uh
it's
huh.
like stairs going down through. And it's like, oh, there's no real good way to paint all of that in there.
No,
So I
no.
said, well, I've got some gray filament. I'll print with that.
There you go. And it looks great, man. It looks awesome. So
Yeah.
I don't have the room to take the plunge into 3D printing, but man, if I did, I would
Hmm.
so get a 3D printer. And because I have a ton of miniatures. I didn't just get it. I bought it while I was down in Louisiana because at the time we had that big cyberpunk rage. So
Nice.
these are the
Hmm.
Nice.
cyberpunk, and these guys, Monster Fight Club, they got the license to do the cyberpunk miniatures, but they're also doing a cyberpunk tabletop miniatures game using these miniatures and a derivative,
Hmm.
I guess, of the cyberpunk red rules. So,
That's cool.
but there's a new miniatures game coming out called Stargrave, which is by Joseph M. McCullough, which is a spin-off of Frostgrave. Frostgrave is an miniatures agnostic uh, fantasy game, and Stargrave is going to be the same thing, only sci-fi. And so I'm thinking I'm going to pick up some more of these because they're just sci-fi enough
Hmm.
to work. And I'm going to use them as you create a crew, a gang, and then you play these games, and it's very solo play friendly as well as cooperative play. So very excited to get some more of those miniatures. They're actually on Miniature Market right now, two or three different sets for relatively cheap. I think those were $20 for three miniatures, and I think Miniature Market's got them on sale right now for like $8, 7.99. So it's just overstock that they bought from somebody. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of cool stuff out there, and it's just too much to keep up with. Nor do I have enough money to back everything I want. But Nasser points out some cool ones to me every so often. Hobbs, you know, turned me on to some stuff. So yeah, it's just a great time to be a gamer. And of course, we have this vehicle to represent what we want to do, and crazy guys like you to come on here and stay up till 10 o'clock at night with me to feed my lust to be on YouTube. So I thank you guys immensely. I think we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. I just want to give a big thank you to Nasser and to Cosmic. Both of these guys are Patreons, so whenever I decide to run a game, I always reach out to my Patreons first and give them the option to play, and then I open it up to the rest of my Discord. So if you're interested in playing games online with Mr. Mean, jump onto the Discord. There's links down in the doobly-doo. Nasser and Cosmic will tell you we have a very active Discord. Mazza said it today. The best way to get a hold of him is through the meanie horde. He's on there more than he is his own Discord. He's like, my Discord has like 6 people on it. I'm like, okay, I'll take the compliment. Thank you very much. So yeah, we have a very active community on Discord. There's people playing games. Drop in, say hi. We love to talk about tabletop RPGs. That's our main focus. So if you've got questions or anything like that, if there's anything me, Nasser, or Cosmic can do, we all play a lot of different games. We're obviously here to help and help out a lot. And I enjoy the community. You guys make it great. So thank you. So with that, I'm going to say adieu. Nasser, Cosmic, thank you guys so much. It was a blast. To everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you so much for watching. As always, peace and hair grease. And Mr. Mean says, be nice.